I'm hoping to start something with this. Every guest that we bring on, we're keen to ask them this simple question, but I'm very keen on your answers and keen for yours really, Ross.
You're going to want a jingle for this as well, aren't you?
We'll get a jingle for this bit as well eventually. So yeah, primary care is a busy place, as across the NHS, absolutely. What one thing do you think would be something that you would wish for to help improve your day job?
Well, that's probably quite a tricky one for me to answer, because I'm very happy with my job. As I said at the very beginning,
We found a happy doctor.
I am delighted with my job. I think for me, the frustration that I have is not being able to provide the service that I inherently would like to provide at times. Not always, but at times. And that's predominantly down to the structure that we work in, where we have to make ends meet in a finite budget. We struggle to recruit sometimes in the area, which is a real shame, really, because this is an area that I came to in 2001 with the full intention of leaving, but never have.
Wow. Okay.
I would like to see development of medical services for the patient at the heart of what we do. We all strive to do that, but I think sometimes because of the external pressures, we don't always achieve that. I think that would make me a happy person and make the patient a happy patient.
Yeah, it's a one that I think a lot of us can resonate with. Yeah, and something that I'll take on. I'm hoping to acquire a bit of a list of all these as forthcoming guests come on. Final question, which we're trying to create a bit of a theme, aren't we, Paul?
Yeah, he wants to do like a bit of a compilation album at the end of the year. I
steady on, Paul. Come on, steady on. So if you could, what would be one thing that you would change to allow you to do a better job as a GP, as a doctor?
It's an interesting question because I'm not from the school where I think loads and loads of money is necessarily the answer.
Yeah,
I take a slightly different view, which people may disagree with. If I had a solution to my job, it would be having a dedicated, frail elderly, one-stop shop service run by clinicians who are experienced in elderly care, who could turn patients around very quickly, get the transport there, get them back. Because as you know, in out of hours, you have two options usually for elderly frail. You either keep them at home, or you send them to A&E. What you really, if you had a building somewhere that was full of skilled professionals in elderly frail people who you could get in the front door and out the back door, it'd be brilliant. I suppose that's a bit old-fashioned because it's like an old cottage hospital job, isn't it?
You know what?
Will it roll back round?
That's what I think would make a massive difference.
Wow, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because I'm sure they existed in one way or the other with that cottage hospital feel.
Yeah,
I'm learning, and I'm sure our listeners of various spectrums of their career at the moment, things end up coming back round. So that's a really interesting one. Thanks, Neil. That's fascinating stuff. If anything, what is one thing you'd like to see change in the NHS for you to be able to do your job better, you think?
I think we all talk about the usual really big things, don't we? Change policy, change finance, thinking about that. To me, I think we have no power of influence or circle of influence on that.
Yeah.
What I think we need to do better is engage with our patients about, I don't think people or patients understand how a GP practice functions. They think we're part of the NHS. They think that, every NHS policy for the hospital's the same as for us. But actually, I think if they understood the implications of not turning up to their appointments, expectations of what we can do, I think would change a lot in general practice. So I think, I think better engagement with our patients, like how we function, how we work, what in a day in a life in a GP practice actually looks like. I think we get a lot of hard press from the, hard stick from the press, don't we? GPs on 300,000 a year, playing 3 rounds of golf a week, driving their Porsches, whatever,
Yeah.
It's been a busy morning for Amit doing all that,
Last time I played golf, I put someone's windscreen through, so no.
Oh, there you go. No golf for you.
Definitely not.
But I think we'll never be able to change the government and the funding. I think, let's be realistic, but I think we probably can change patient perspective and getting them to better understand us.
Fascinating, isn't it? I think you're right. You're so right. Because actually, there's almost a a real challenge with the view of the media and influencing individuals, our patients. Do we go at this in our own way and highlight our own changes? I love that. That's fascinating.
Perceptions of the public, it's a tricky one, isn't it? But it really helps.
Definitely
every little helps on that.
That Christmas, I definitely include that in the Christmas special. Can be a good one.
You want a good montage at Christmas, then?
Keen to hear your thoughts about what's one thing you think you'd love to see that we could improve to allow you to be a better clinician in the NHS at the moment.
Oh, you mean in general?
Yeah, in general, yeah. Go on. I know it's a big one.
That is a big one. I think oh gosh, that is a big one. Yeah.
That's his question of the week every week.
Killer question.
Scuppers everyone.
What does Detective Phillips say? The one thing he wishes to see for us to be better clinicians, there's something about us just remembering that things are not as we'd want them to be. We'd all want more money, more staff, more access to technology, and we're all united in that. But for me, I have got a particular philosophy about being a servant, and we work in a national health service, and therefore we are servants. And the person in front of us needs to be served. They're no longer a person on the street, because a person on the street shopping. There's someone who's unwell and worried, and it's our work to serve. And if we can keep that in our minds, it removes a bit of the stress and allows us to access that bit in us that makes us really proud in serving someone who is unwell or worried. And if we can capture that a bit more, without too much piety, but just remember we are servants, it takes some of the sting out of the bigger things. There's a real great satisfaction and honour in being able to serve someone.
See, that's really refreshing to hear, isn't it, really? Because you're right, because we're actually, the front of our minds is always about money, resources, workforce, but actually bringing it right down to the patient in front of you and recognising the joint role and your role in this. Oh, I love that. Beautiful.
In terms of looking forward and hopes and ambitions, what would ideal general practice look like for you in a few years' time?
So I think it's, ideal general practice. So I think, I'm trying to think. That's a good question. I'd say the ability to promote continuity of care and the understanding from population and from decision makers of the importance of that without a arbitrary metric that puts on that, therefore to judge you on it. But I think that is what I think ideal that promotes that and has the resources to enable that. We know currently people's satisfaction with the NHS and primary care currently, I think, is an all-time low. Trying to reverse that trend, and that's a really difficult thing, isn't it? And I think hopefully a 10-year plan, I mean, they've talked about hospital to community, haven't they, been central to that treatment to prevention, which primary care is ideally situated to be. So enabling us to do that hopefully will come out on it. So I think, continuity of care, promoting health and preventing ill health, but remaining rooted in our communities, because it's the practices that they know their communities often better than edicts from centrally that may be designed for a slightly different population than what yours is. So I think the flexibility to serve them, I think related to that is probably fewer targets. I mean, the benefit of KPIs is well debated within healthcare systems, whether they make much difference or not. And one can understand why people that hold the purse strings in terms of transparency like these KPIs and these targets. But the evidence is they don't really affect health outcomes on most of them, or morbidity or mortality. And I think, therefore, trust centrally to practices to do the right things for the population, I think, is also key.
So I guess in summary, it's a health service that enables general practice to put into place properly resourced continuity of care and reap the known benefits, the known evidence-based benefits of that. Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I do truly believe it could be transformative for the NHS and the health of people up and down the country. It takes a lot of faith, and there's a lot of difficult discussions in terms of if there are any resources moving from secondary to primary care. But I think the evidence base from here and around the world would show it's a no-brainer.
What
Idea.
would be, if you could, what would be one thing that you would change for you to be a better clinician?
You're going to love it, Amit.
This is gonna backfire on me, isn't it? Come on,
Never.
It's going to backfire big time.
go on.
More time.
Oh my God.
Because of the way that pharmacists work. Everything's very pressured.
Yeah.
We'd always like more time
it's
to
a
do
hard
what we have
balance.
to do. Yeah.
It's a hard balance, isn't it? Really. Look, we'll take that away. At least you didn't say more money,
That's
because
what
most
most
people,
of you guys say.
Most people go,
Yeah.
yeah, just hand us a wad of cash and we'll try and make things
Oh,
fix.
God, why didn't I say that?
Too late now. That's it. It's recorded.
That was
Simon.
stupid.
No. Look, you know what? I think it's a really nice reflection, recognising some of the challenges about having pharmacists in practice, but the realism of having you guys here and actually the huge benefit you can provide. I've seen it myself. I've seen the huge amount of work that our pharmacist colleagues get through, and the number of times I get a task or a phone call or even a meeting where we've got an array of errors or near misses that we've discovered on the back of having you guys on board. So I think absolutely, I've said before, I'll say it again, very much integral to what is a developing, growing primary care. That same question we ask other guests. I'll ask you as well. What's one thing you'd change, one thing you would want to see happen in the NHS to help you further?
I think it would be the organisations doing a bit of what I'm trying to do by supporting each other a bit more, especially on the digital streams.
Yeah.
Because
Go on.
likes and hearts and comments and all these things help stay in people's feeds.
So just participate almost.
Yeah, and almost create this online community where we are working as a bigger health and care team. And try to give more likes to some of these maybe smaller things or these new organisations in the community who are starting up. Or even things like the Pairs Medical School.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's something that Cumbria has been after a long, long time.
Absolutely,
We've finally got it, and it's saying to the public, but also the organisations, don't forget to like it. Don't forget to comment and say, this is great.
That's really interesting. I honestly thought you were going to say, I'd like a bigger camera or a bigger website. But actually, all you want is actual contribution and participation in the message. And I think cost time. Yeah, I'll give you that. But actually, it's something very, very reasonable. So look, if you're listening to this podcast, check out the website, check out the social media streams.
Yeah, My Health End Cumbria we're under. But even if it's not us, just anything local that's trying to do healthy stuff, give that some likes, give it some support.
There's a lot of love to be given out there. The question really is about aligned to the med school or the NHS. What one thing would you feel as though would be beneficial to be able to improve the experience of working within your sector or the NHS that would overall benefit patient care?
From my perspective, it would be for people to recognise how special the care that's free at the point of delivery is. And so therefore we all work hard to look after it, because it's so important if you or somebody you care about needs that health care immediately, not to have to immediately worry about the finances of it. I think that's a tremendous gift that sometimes this country takes for granted.
You know what? It's so refreshing. And yeah, look, completely agree with you, because everyone talks about the money, the challenges and the resources, but you forget actually at the end of the day, such an entity and how precious it is to be able to have that. Colleagues around Europe, in the US, we have to fork out your credit card before you end up thinking about that.
You have to consider, in other countries, you have to consider insurance. You have to consider your insurance package in a way that we don't. Now, maybe we should, and obviously we need to look at other ways that the NHS can run, because it isn't working at the moment. But to lose that free at the point of delivery, I think would be, and a national insurance system, I think would be a dreadful loss.
Fantastic. Lovely to get your insights, with that, but also just fantastic hearing about the medical school. The very final question, which we ask a lot, don't we?
He likes asking this question.
Well, I mean...
It's his big final question.
It's the Christmas special. We'll kind of
he
compile
wants
them.
this. He wants this montage Christmas special of the big question.
This is not my idea, it was yours, was it? Was it mine?
I think it was yours.
Okay, right. So look, quick question then. What's one thing, what's the one thing you think you'd love to see change or happen within the NHS to improve the care we can offer our patients?
So I've got about 3 or 4 things. Let me bring it down to one thing.
Go on.
Well, okay, I think it's just that, not even openness, it's just that absolute commitment to at the very beginning of every conversation, say who else needs to be in the room for this conversation, and look at our vibrant third sector with many organisations really struggling financially. Instead of thinking we could do this or we could reinvent it, saying come into the room and help us with it and work it out. If you're having a secondary care conversation, make sure somebody from primary care is there. If you're having a primary care conversation, make sure somebody from secondary care is there. Mental health team should be in all the time. All of that, bringing all of that system together and not just going off in isolation with here's a problem, let's try and fix it this way. It's that stopping and thinking, how can we do this together? I think that would make a significant difference.
Again, I mean, it's so true and so refreshing to hear, if I'm honest with you, Julie, because you're right, that there is a risk of that siloing and that working in different directions, particularly when the NHS is being asked to change, to adapt. Actually, the risk is doing it in isolation. You end up in a real mess.
And also, when people need to do things quickly, it slows it down involving other people, and that's a frustration. But actually, if you get something better, it's worth that just kind of like taking a breath and thinking.
And that, I mean, do you need a truckload of money to do that? I mean, ultimately, it'd be lovely to know that there's additional resources there, but the point about setting the agenda and talking it through, I think it's incredibly powerful.
Well, I run a charity, so I'm always going to say extra money. If you're going to bring people in from the third sector, make sure that you're supporting them to be able to do that. But actually, it's about the will of leadership, and it's having leaders that believe in the right thing for their patients is for us all to be working together around them and to be role modelling that and enabling their staff and their teams to do that.
If you could ask one thing of every GP or pharmacist in North Cumbria, what would it be?
I don't know if I've already said the word professionally curious too many times in this podcast.
Nah, you can't say it too many times. It's fine.
But yeah, it's to, I think, ask as much as you tell, to make sure that, is someone happy with something? Is it working for them? Because it doesn't take any longer to ask the question and somebody say yes than for you to tell them and they go yes because they think they should. So yeah, professional curiosity is, I think, a skill that I've developed over the years as I've become more experienced and gone from I can see how to apply this to actually I need to learn how to apply this.
What's one thing you'd like to see, an additional resource or one thing change in the NHS to allow us to be better clinical colleagues?
What clinical colleagues rather than clinical staff for our patients?
Yeah. So what would you say is one thing you'd like to see happen in the NHS, or one thing you'd like to make you a better doctor?
Almost the genie in the lamp. You get that one wish.
I'll put you in the spot now. You've already reeled out all of the amazing things you want to see, but go on, I'm going to pin you down to just one.
I would like the ability for all women to feel like they've never been dismissed. It literally tears my heart out when I hear a case that they have been sort of dismissed or they've not been listened to. That really upsets me. And actually, Amit, you've been great. You've said sometimes you worry in appointments, but actually, please don't worry about getting it right. It's okay to take time, check the guidance, check with your colleague, check with a women's health specialist in your practice if needs be. Just listen. And actually, so long as women don't feel dismissed or fobbed off, like that is my only wish. That makes me, honestly, it makes me mad.
You know what? I'll take that away. And it's one thing that I'd encourage our colleagues, clinical colleagues or trainees, anyone who's on the podcast, I thoroughly recommend that as well, because it does upset me when I hear from women who felt they've been dismissed, and I try and make an extra effort to just go in clinics. It feels as though that you still got concerns. Tell me. I'm happy to hear.
My husband, he's a GP partner with me in Brampton. I'll be honest, he is terrified of women's health.
Wow.
If he knows there's women that are coming to see him, he'll often maybe phone me when he's in work or call me into his clinical room to sort of chat through how we could manage it. And actually, every time I say, it's okay, women just want you to listen. Like, it's okay, like, please listen, see the impact that it's having. And actually, it's amazing. He has quite a following of sort of women's health issues of women.
Fan club now.
Yeah, he does actually. and it's okay that you maybe haven't got the diplomas, you don't know the nice CKS inside out, you maybe not even heard of the BMS website. That's okay. Listen, see what the issue is, take your time.